Man, guys, I'm still up watching fights, man. I can't get back to sleep. My neighbors woke me up with that. With this is what happened when you live in the country and people can buy RP-15s like all night. They had a good time. I didn't get to sleep. I once I start watching fights, I get so excited about fights. Sometimes you'll notice that I'm speaking fast. My head is bobbing about. I'm working on that, and hopefully with some more speech coaching and broadcast journalism classes, I'll be able to sound very smooth. But in the meantime, I'll do the best I can. So I just finished watching the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm fight for like the umpteenth. I mean, I watched that thing so many times, and I'm thinking to myself, does she really need a new coach? And in my opinion, the coach did the best job he could. I mean, training her for her to box. The Holly Holm is a 20-year undefeated veteran. You're not just gonna just get in the ring with somebody who's that good, 20 years of experience, and think that just because you're an Olympic judo person and you came to mixed martial arts and you learned boxing for a couple of years that you're gonna be able to beat somebody like that. It just doesn't happen like that. I mean, once somebody have experience and they've been battle tested, it's very hard to beat them. I mean, I've what happened to me in fights. Once I was fighting this dude. Let me tell you the story right before I go any further. There's a guy named Dwight Palmer. At the time, I was 12 years old. He was 13. This guy was 13. His dad was a mechanic. They had cars in their yards and they had a mechanic shop. This guy was so big he could lift a whole engine block up with the pistons out. The huge dude, massive hands. This guy is a girl visiting from England. So I said hello to her. Me and her was talking. He was upset. The guy, he just reached over to me and said, "Hey guys, we're gonna have a fight down by the sawmill." So I was like, "A fight by the sawmill? I know who's fighting." So I went down there. I walked. Me and my cousin walked in. Everybody just made a circle around us. And then all of a sudden, this guy said, "I want to fight you." He took his shirt off. I still had my shirt on. I mean, at that time, I was so skinny. My head was bigger than my body. I could barely stand up. And man, this guy, he turned the heat on me. Every time I opened my eye, there was a fist in it. Bam, bam, bam. Just to the point where I was like how Ronda Rousey was looking just like this. My head doing like this. In all directions, this guy just kept pounding me. But you know what happened? I stumbled up on the rope a dope. He got tired. He would beat me up, stop and go. And his friends would say, "Round one." And he'd go, "Okay." And then start over again beating me. I mean, this guy beat me so bad. But my my grandmother used to sell chicken out of a refrigerator. And I have this crazy uncle. He knows how to fight. So he used to go in the refrigerator when customers come to get chickens out, and sometimes they'd be stuck together because the sweat and condensation, or it'd be like a thin block of ice because we also sold ice. And he would take his fist and just go break the ice up and take the thing out. So I started going in the fridge when my grandmother sent me there, and I did the same thing. I mean, it's a farm. You learn and you watch what other people do. I looked up to this guy. He's my uncle, so I did the same thing, break the ice up. So I was doing that over the years, all those years. So my hands were like calcium solid steel, as I didn't know what I had, what I was sitting on. This guy beat me until this eye was swollen real bad. I was just hanging over like this with one eye really out of it. And then you know what happened? I dropped this hand like this, started dangling it. Then I lowered my head like this, like I couldn't see him. Then I took this hand and I put it behind me. And when they said it was round four, that's how much I took up. My face was swollen. That took a beating. He ran from his corner at full speed, pulled his fist back, and went. "Ah!" He was coming down at me, but I didn't say nothing. I could feel his. It was like one of those Bruce Lee moments. I could just feel the sand. I could hear everything around me simultaneously. I could feel the sawdust moving. I could see his shadow just coming across to me. And that's at the right moment I looked up. And when he pulled his hand like this, that chin was ready. Man, I came up with everything I had. Push him right across the chin. Rocked him real good. And he stepped back like this. And he was like, what? I don't want to say the word he said in Jamaican, but they were very derogatory. Then he just, blood came from his nose and he just went and fell down like that after blood came out his nose. So he got up, his brothers got him up to wipe him up. And then afterwards, they started massaging him. I said, come on, you could take the skinny boy, you could take him. But I knew that I had nothing left in the tank. So you know what I did? I got up, put my hands like this, and then I said, come and get it. And then afterwards, I just looked. I couldn't even see. I didn't even see where he was. I just looked in his general direction like this. I was shaking my hands like this because he felt that ice breaking refrigerator hand smash him across the jaw. He didn't want none. I know it to fight then. So I was just like I'm a madman frothing at the mouth. You know what? He looked over there and he saw me jumping around like I was ready for him. And he just said, no, I'm done. I don't want no more. I'm done. I don't want no more. I didn't beat him with this. I beat him with this. No, I had to be an experienced fighter. He would have been like, nah, that guy's gotten a lucky shot. I could take him. I could take him. And you'd have come back out. So Ronda Rousey, she walked on somebody who's a veteran. There's no way you're gonna run up on an experienced fighter and beat them. Incidentally, after that, whenever the guy saw me, he would want to fight me, and I was terrified. I would start shaking. I would just start shaking. I had like panic attacks. And one time I almost peed on myself the way I was shaking. And my older friends would say, no, 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 you can't fight this guy. He already beat you up so bad. And that guy carried a grudge almost half his life. So I moved away to the city. And when I moved to the city, I was going to a school with guys who were like savages. No other way to put it. You either sink or swim. And that's when you discover, hey, I got the goods. So when I came home to visit one summer, he saw me and he walked over to me. By that time, I was like maybe 146 and he was 165. Big. Walk over to me. I said, hey, hey, hey. He's just looking for me to like he had a chip on his shoulder, like he wanted me to say something to him. So, but after being in the city, having to scrap every day, you know what? I woke up one morning and I was a veteran. Yeah, I didn't scare me no more. I just looked at him and I was like, yeah, what's up? You want something? You alright? And he was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. And so Ronda Rousey, she went up against a veteran. And you're up against somebody who's had more fights under the belts. They're gonna know when you're hurting. They're gonna know when you gas out. They're gonna know from the way you breathe what you're doing. They're gonna see the holes in your game. They're gonna know everything. Ronda Rousey was throwing punches like this, boom, boom. And the first thing I learned when I learned to fight was in Taekwondo, when you do forms, you keep your head stiff, that type of stuff. But the first thing a real fighter told me, when you throw a punch, never leave your head the same place it was before. Because as you're throwing a punch, somebody is throwing a punch. When you throw a punch, if it's a straight punch, tilt your head to the side like this and cover up. Because as you're punching, the other person they're coming into, you know? So Ronda Rousey just stood there like this. Boom, 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 just like I did. And she kicked within her head knocked back. And she was hoping she could have gone to the judo. And that would have worked out for her. But when you're up against an experienced fighter, you gotta know what you're doing. So after watching her fight, I thought to myself, everybody's saying that she needs a new boxing coach. She definitely need a new boxing coach. I mean, she doesn't need a new boxing coach. I think basically what she needs to do is spend more time focused on boxing, work with more experienced boxers, get different looks. Don't just focus on the judo alone. That's your bread and butter. When I was growing up and I got in fights, my bread and butter was the that one Hail Mary that I did to win the fight with that boy. But I soon came up against guys who were like 1, 2, 3, good combination people, and I throw the right hand, and then all of a sudden they get me. So after a while, I learned to right hand, left hand. You learn moves, and I think that's what happened to her. She developed that ability to execute the judo so well that in her mind, boxing and the mittens, that's just something that you do. You know, if you can't get good with the judo first, then you go to the boxing. Because when she was executing the judo, she did a fairly good job. But I believe in the first round, when she, I believe in the first round, she took a kick to the head. I believe that gave her a concussion, because when I saw the footage of her sitting down and her coaches were patting her down, if you look at the photograph of her eyes, you can see that they're fully dilated, like wide open. So she had a concussion at that point. Now, if I'm her coach, at that point, I would throw in the towel. I'd say, you know what, we're done here. So when she came out of her corner with a concussion, because if you look at it, she's wobbling, she's not focused, she's just standing there taking a pounding, taking a pounding, so it's to me, in my mind, I think it was lack of experience. I think that most of the people that she was up against, their level of boxing skills wasn't there, and she was able to overpower them and over judo them. But when you're against a veteran, it's different, because a person who's a veteran, they're fine-tuned their skills, they know what they're doing, they have the technique. And I've knocked out guys like 3, 4, 5 times my size, and it has nothing to do with your strength, how powerful you are. It's all about your technique. If your technique is good, you can generate enough torque and power to take anyone down. So 20 years of Holly Holm developing herself and fine-tuning her skills, versus somebody who just came into mixed martial arts, just became a mixed martial artist, just learned boxing. It's not gonna end good for her. So I don't think she needs a new training camp, our new coach. I just think she needs to work on her boxing, get more help, get more people in her camp, work with other mixed martial artists. Don't isolate yourself. And if you find that what you have there that was not working, seek advice from other coaches. And I wanted to say, George St. Pierre, he had more than one boxing coach. As a matter of fact, he had a coach that worked with him exclusively on explosive power and punching from the hips. That's how he perfected his jab. That's how he was able to keep Josh Koscheck at bay. So just because you have a one boxing coach, that one boxing coach, usually when you have a coach, that coach work on perfecting your skill based on what they have done before and what worked for them. So when you have multiple boxing coaches, you get a more wider field. And when you actually train and spend more time in the boxing, you get to understand what was going on. Because from what I'm watching that video like 4 times, I could see that it was footwork. Footwork was what Holly Holm used. Cut the ring off and then just smashed up. Just footwork and timing, and that's all it was. So I just think she doesn't need a new. Our coach is not bad. The guy isn't sucky. He's an undefeated boxer. She just needs more practice. Based on the 3 years worth of boxing lessons and training, isn't gonna take 20 years out. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. And Holly Holm is an undefeated kickboxing champion, an undefeated boxer. I mean, Holly Holm is the real deal, and I don't think Ronda should get a rematch immediately. She needs some time to train, fine tune herself, and mentally sort things out and decide, where she's at. That's my 2 cents, even though it ran over 14 minutes. I'm sorry my video is so long, guys. I'm working on making it short.